Shalom, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Archeum, pushing this word in sincerity and truth. This is your brother Yassad back at you with another lesson will not edifying to the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Right? So basically, this one here is the love of many waxing cold. Right? This here is the said daughter Source Doubles, the famous, Source Doubles down in Trinidad, She was kidnapped. But the thing is that, she was kidnapped. But let's look at what the results are this, because we know is society getting much more tough to survive. The cost of living, it very, very suppressing, right? But it surely wouldn't give a Jake no right to go to thief, to kidnap, to do none of these things, and the Lord render, speed judgment, and we know it would be so because these heathens already had that perpetual hatred against Jake. So the moment these heathens get a reason, they're gonna put you out, it's a Source Doubles kidnapping shooting. Anisha Hussein Elam is still missing as of 7 p.m. on Saturday. The 27-year-old woman was bundled in a vehicle while her husband Richie Singh, and an unidentified man was setting up their double stall on West Eastern Main Road in El Dorado. At 6 p.m., CCTV footage from a adjacent business establishment in the area showed a blue sports utility vehicle circling the parked AD wagon that was being offloaded with merchandise for the workday until the driver of the SUV finally parked in front of the white wagon that was on the side of the road. The video went to show the SUV parking in front of the wagon and then reverse and coming forward as if to straighten the vehicle on the roadside. A few seconds after, a grey B15 motor car suddenly pulled up behind the parked wagon and three men alighted, leaving the driver alone in the B15, while assailants in the back seat of the left to the left of the driver ran towards the businesswoman, grabbing her by her hair and pulled her on the ground as she screamed and fought. At the same time, two gunmen also emerged from the front passenger seat and back seat behind the driver, with the one in the back seat coming out immediately, scanning the road with his firearm trained on the vehicles driving along the main road. The other accomplice in the front passenger seat ran with the first abductor towards the double stall, and at the same time pointing his gun at the intended target, Anisha Hussein. One of the gunmen fired two shots in the direction of Singh as he made an attempt to move in the direction of the men, taking his wife against her will. The car in front of the woman was later abandoned. Richie Singh was grazed on his face by a bullet, and was back home waiting for information. I ain't gonna go further. Right, so that was the incident. That was what took place. And now let's look at the result. It's a cops identify suspect killed in connection with Anisha kidnapping. Police have identified 4 men who were killed during a police-involved shooting in St. Augustine following the kidnapping and release of Anisha Hussein Singh. Police said the suspects who were killed on Thursday morning has been identified as 19-year-old Akeem Punet, 27-year-old Christopher Noriega, and Tevon Maynard. The fourth individual has only been identified by the alias Bounty Killer. The fourth suspect, and these aliases, majority is Jake, all had affiliation with the resistant gang, according to the police reports. Around 9:45 Thursday, and Jake all was in some gang, and this is the curses because the scriptures say your eye gonna be evil towards your brother, and that is why it's set up, different gangs where Esau Edom set up color code, these things to divide the people and have them against each other. No unity. Let's say officers attached to the interagency operational unit journeyed to a forecasted area of St. Michael, St. John Road, St. Augustine, at the time of pursuing persons of the interest relative to the kidnapping of Anisha Hussein. After trekking some 300 feet into the forest, they observed the four men standing near each other at a makeshift shed. The officers identified themselves and called on the group to surrender. Two men allegedly pulled out firearms and shot at the officers. The officers, in keeping with TNT use of force policy, returned fire. All four men were killed in the exchange. One Galif rifle and one pistol, one Galil rifle and one pistol were recovered near the bodies. And I wouldn't read on further, Let's see here. It's a four kidnapped suspects die in gunfight. Here's a whole rundown. Look, Jake. Okay, another Jake put to death, and yet she was returned unharmed. Watch here. He added that Hussein received medical attention on Wednesday night and confirmed that she had not been beaten or physically harmed. Hussein was released on Wednesday night around 10 p.m. near the Karen cremation site, where she was picked up by a driver who took her to the St. Joseph police station, where she gave a statement. She was unharmed. A gunfight ensued. So she was released. But we know how it is. The opportunity that these heathen have against you, Jake, they're gonna put you out on spot, and it's all a part of the curses, because Jake looking to do evil is foolish. Jakes are being a fool, and they just gonna be speeding up their judgment, because first I'll get Amos, because the scriptures speak about though covered that is which is of your neighbor. They thought they could have kidnapped and called for ransom. And what do you think? Not knowing that the death contract they really signed, because with these rich, with these Elamites, they having money, they would ensure that you dead. You wouldn't get nothing out of it, especially you Jakes. Amos chapter 3 and 2, it says, "You only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities." And that is what taking place. Jake trying to do evil to gain out here. The scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil. So Jake looking to go to that extent. The Lord is gonna render speed judgment. Judgment speedily. As it's saying Deuteronomy 28 and 16, because the curse is upon us. It says, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall thy basket and thy store, shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kin, and flock of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. Because it was all for Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord, to observe and do all his commandments and statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Because if these Jakes was serving Yahweh Hashem, they would not be in that position. They surely would not be in that position. You know? Judgment. Lights out. Lights out. Verse 20, it said, the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke. You know, they get a rebuke, but they die. And all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do. Right? So they plotted a plan. They set up to kidnap, you know, and to call a ransom, etc. But the Lord said, thou shalt, you're gonna send cursing, vexation, and rebuke in everything you look to do. Right? In all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly coming, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Yeah. So this is the result. Right? That's the result. Matthew 24 and 12. Yes, the woman wasn't harmed, you know, but yet what, these men were, they made sure that these men were dead men, and all that is as an example, you know. Don't go around the Elamites and their family, because they had the power, they had the money to carry out these things. You know, Matthew 24 and 12. It's and because iniquity shall abound, because right now a lot of robberies, a lot of scamming, you know, taking place. And you know, these Elamites, you know, a lot of them having the firearm, a lot of them having the links, you know. Jake getting catch and killed easy. They're not sparing you, because the scriptures say what they're not going to be sparing none. Ezekiel 9. And the Lord actually rising up the spirit upon these heathens to kill you Jakes, as it was before. It's saying, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. It could have ended off differently, where these men surrendered, but it's only obvious that it's only obvious what took place there. Right? Second is just 15 and 16, because if you Jakes think you could kidnap and call ransom and try to make it, you wouldn't make it, because one, the Lord is set against you because of your doings, and then these heathens have money, they have the links. It's say 2 15 and 14, it say, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against another, you know, and swords in their hands. And think about it, a Elamite went missing, you know, the hunting, the manhunt is on. But let Jake be missing, you know, 2-3. Look, there's a Jake missing right now, a young girl, you know, someone who I used to talk to. But there's no manhunt looking for she. There's no big fret for she. You know? That's just to show you. Let's say one people shall fight against another and sword in their hand, or there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, because these times coming, you know. These short times surely coming, you know. And more it's gonna extensify. They shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Yeah. Because chaos is coming. Right, and what would go on? The poor would look to attack the rich. Because that what took place, you know. These jakes think, well, they could have gone kidnap one of them and call ransom. These jakes here just died foolishly. You know? Only just in Lamentations 2. It show you the mind how these heathens always would have force. Let's say Lamentation 2:15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They have hissed and gnashed their teeth. They say, We have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. And that never came off at the minds of these heathens. They always had a perpetual hatred. So the moment they could get the upper hand on Egypt's dead. Right? That's why it's you know, don't trust your enemies. These are our enemies, you know, and they would always be. You know, hopefully this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Yakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone. Until the next one, Shalom.